Hello, I am Mac for a day. That's not my real name, of course, but for these videos I get to be Mac for a day. Today I will be showing you how to profit from spending time on an empty planet in No Man's Sky, and also doing some deep monologue introspection into the state of the video gaming world as a whole. So if that sounds interesting to you, hang on to your seat and let's go. So I'm here mainly collecting plutonium and thamium, which is pretty much the only thing you can get on empty planets, except for gold and iridium also. As you can see, I mentioned this in another video, I am working on filling up my freighter with more warp fuel so that I can use it all to get to the center of the next galaxy. I'm at the center of Euclid right now. A really convenient thing I noticed is it takes 1,000 thamium to make 10 warp cells. So if I fill up my whole freighter with stacks of 1,000 thamium, that will equal the exact amount that it will take to make all the warp cells I need. So that's what I'm going to do today. As I'm doing this video, I'm going to try to collect all the thamium and fill up my freighter the rest of the way. So I'll have everything I need to make, well, I'll have all the thamium I'll need to make all the warp cells. That's still a lot of ingredients I'm going to need still. So as I mentioned in another video, empty planets are the best places to get thamium now, because thamium is the only raw element that can replenish your life support, and they had to put thamium on empty planets because if they didn't, there'd be no other way to restore your life support on these planets. So as you see, there is these huge collections, or what would you call it, gardens of thamium flowers on empty planets. So it makes a very convenient place to collect thamium. And there's also plutonium, which I also need for the warp fuel. Oh, another nice thing I can show you for new players that new players might not realize is that you can, I'm going to have to run back to my ship to show this, you can send stuff to your freighter anytime you want. Well, by anytime I mean only when you're close to your ship. But here, I'll just show you. I'm going to collect all this thamium. I'm going to go ahead and call my freighter. Your freighter has to be in the star system for this to work, and you have to be close to your ship. Let's see if it works. Pretty sure you have to be close to your ship to do this. If I'm on PlayStation 4, so if I press triangle, oh, it's letting me do it now. Might be because my freighter is right above me. So I can transfer the thamium. Nope, starship out of range, so I can't do it right now. So if I run to my starship, I will be able to send stuff to my freighter without actually going into my freighter, talking to the captain, and giving him stuff. You can't take stuff back out of your freighter this way. You can only put stuff into it. To get stuff out of your freighter, you do have to go to the captain of your freighter and talk to him and everything. Okay, this should be close enough to my starship. I am in range of my starship, so I should be able to transfer things. Oh wait. Transfer things from my starship to my freighter. Has to be in the starship for this to work. Oh, I have lots of thamium. Let's see, is that all the thamium in my starship? Yeah. Okay. So that's another trick you learn from this, is you can transfer stuff to your freighter as long as you call your freighter to the system you're in, like my giant Star Destroyer freighter, and send it to your freighter as long as you're close to your starship. So anyways, I'm going to keep running along collecting thingamium while I talk about the state of the video game world. This is something I've become aware of over the course of playing more recent popular games and No Man's Sky. I started to notice it before I even played No Man's Sky. I was starting to get sick of the most common popular games, and I didn't even know why. I was like, oh, I'm tired of this. Like a good example would be Fallout 4. I really liked Fallout 3. At the time I thought it was a great game. And then I played Fallout 4 and I liked it for a while, but by the time all the DLC came out for it, I was so sick of it. I couldn't even play the final DLC of Fallout 4. And I didn't at the time realize why. And I realize now that the reason is because popular games have become so centered on objective completion. And it's why I think that games like Minecraft have been so successful. They've tapped into a new concept that wasn't around before, the idea that games don't have to be completely centered around objectives. All games before, for the most part, have been about, going through mostly linear paths, completing the objectives, finishing the storyline, getting to the end of the game, and then it's over, and you're done. Unless they add some more DLC or something for you to complete, you're done with the game. Some games have some replayability. You can go through it again, make some different choices, build a slightly different character. A good example is Elder Scroll games. Elder Scroll games have a lot of replayability because there's a lot of changes you can make when you make a character. And of course, the big focus for the past few years has been on open world games. People were sick of linear games, so they started making open world games. Like, oh, you can go anywhere and you can do anything. And to an extent, that's been good, but they've still fallen into the linear paths. I just watched H. Bomber's review of Fallout 3, which, like I said, I loved Fallout 3 when I played it, but he made me aware through his video of Fallout 3 just how bad things have gotten in the video game world of making things linear even in open world games. Fallout 3 did that. People got pretty sick of the main story of Fallout 3. Because you always, when you did the main story of Fallout 3, it was always exactly the same. Sure, you could wander around and do other side quests and stuff if you wanted to, but... Ooh, there's titanium. But ultimately, unless you just want to completely ignore the main story, it's the same exact thing every time you do it. And the game is set up to just, show you exactly where to go for the storyline, because, otherwise people would probably get confused, although other games have successfully made it so that you have to kind of figure out what you need to do instead of having an objective floating over the character's head that you need to talk to next. But that's what most games have been doing now. They don't want players to get mad that it's hard to tell what to do. Whoops, made the Sentinels mad. That they've set it up so that people will always know exactly what they need to do for the game. And I think that's a mistake, because that limits freedom. It kind of makes it pointless to have an open world game if you're going to have to do everything the same every time. Another good example is Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto is very popular, and it's popular because they've done, tests on people to see what kind of games they like best. And at least for younger audience, having exact objectives to complete is good. But there's honestly, I think we're on the precipice of a new age in which that kind of game finally dies out. And I believe that change is coming. I think it's coming. It started with Minecraft, like I said before, where there are infinite possibilities. Minecraft is a game that has infinite possibilities, even though it's incredibly simplistic, and maybe because it's incredibly simplistic, and players can make their own worlds and everything. And No Man's Sky is in that same vein as well. People complain because you don't actually make the areas, the algorithms of the game do, but it's basically the same idea that the world has obviously not completely infinite possibilities because it's limited by the assets in the game. And the game and No Man's Sky does get repetitive because of that, but that's the biggest improvement they really need to make to it, is adding in more assets and unique things to find and all that. Different types of planets besides the 7 that there are. 7 types of planets. But I really think if they continue to work on it, just like Minecraft has, that they will get a lot better. And I really think Hello Games realizes that. They realize that they've tapped into this new type of game that is not objective driven and that is more, infinite possibilities, allowing players to play their own way and not have a linear storyline. And I'm not just speculating here. During the silence of Hello Games from September till November of 2016, I stalked the Hello Games employees on Twitter, which I know a lot of other people did too, based on all the comments. I didn't actually comment at that time. I didn't have a Twitter account, but I read everything that the Hello Games employees were tweeting or not tweeting, as most of them were not. But one of the big exceptions was Merimacdwarf-orc, one of the programmers at Hello Games, did not tweet much about No Man's Sky, but he tweeted on, pretty much everything else in his entire life. So I kept an eye on him for any sign that he would say something about No Man's Sky. He didn't, but he did retweet the tweet of a woman that was complaining that games had become so objectively driven by objectives. And the woman she retweeted said that games have become like a job. You have a job that you have to do, and you have to do it. And why would you want to do that? Especially for adults. Why would you want to come home from work, turn on a game, and then have more jobs you have to do? Have to complete a job in order to progress the story or whatever. Like I said, Grand Theft Auto is a lot like that. You take these jobs, these criminal jobs, and you have to complete them in order to get a reward, in order to progress through the storyline and so forth. And obviously that was just one person's opinion, but the fact that Merimacdwarf-orc retweeted it shows that Hello Games is aware of this. A lot of their other indie developer friends have also begun to realize this, that the video game market, at least the AAA video game market, is becoming so mired in making games that complete objectives, because that has been rewarding for them. At least, especially young players, find that rewarding. It's, scientifically, it induces dopamine to get a reward for completing an objective, and so that makes people addicted to your game. But the more games do that, the more people are going to get sick of it. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over until eventually you get sick of it. I played Grand Theft Auto 4 and I loved it. I thought it was a great game. But when I played through the DLC of it, by the time I got to the second DLC, I was sick of it, because it was like, I'm just completing objectives To do what? To see how my character's life ends up screwed up because they've been doing crimes all this time, or because they finally, you know, have a good ending or whatever. It's like I don't care about the life of a video game character that I'm following, and it's always going to be the same, except maybe there's a few different choices that I can do that will change things. I really like No Man's Sky because you can do whatever you want. There are things to complete, like I'm completing an objective right now, but I've made that objective myself. It's not something the game said I had to do. It didn't say you have to create warp fuel. I could stay in the same star system the whole time if I want to. I didn't have to make warp fuel and travel to other systems. But that's what I'm choosing to do. I'm choosing to collect the resources to create warp fuel, fill up my whole freighter, and go to the next galaxy and travel and see what's in the middle of Hilbert Dimension. That's what I felt like doing. That's what I'm doing. And I like that, you know? And honestly, as people have said, No Man's Sky is an art game. It's not about entertainment, which would make people go, what? Of course it's entertainment, it's a video game. But there's three different big schools of thought in our world. Two of them are entertainment and the arts. The other is science, and this is just my own theory I'm going off of. I didn't read anything about this. But the popular school of thought says that, you know, something has to be entertaining for people to like it, has to be fun in order to be enjoyable. But, you know, throughout history, being fun and enjoyable hasn't always made why something was important. The arts, as I watched in another video about No Man's Sky recently, the arts are not about, you know, being worth a lot of money or taking a lot of time to create something. It's really all just about one thing: your emotions. How does it make you feel? No Man's Sky is a game that can invoke a lot of emotions in you. It can make you feel lonely. It can make you feel great awe and wonder at beautiful sights that you see in it. It has invoked a lot of anger in people, but I don't think that was the intention of the game. And to me, that's what I want from a game. I want a game that makes me feel something special, not something that makes me feel like I'm going through the motions of completing the game's objectives and, you know, coming to the end of it. When the game ends, it ends. No Man's Sky is one of the games that it doesn't end. There is no end to it. As I tweeted recently, and here's my, you know, self-centered, whatever. Follow me on Twitter if you want, at Mac Faraday. But anyway, at Mac Faraday. What was I saying? Oh yeah, as I tweeted recently, the center of the galaxy is not a destination. People say, oh, the end of No Man's Sky is so stupid. You get there and there's nothing there. The center of the galaxy is not a destination. The center of the galaxy is a direction to travel in. No Man's Sky is a journey. It is not a destination. And it's important that it doesn't end. When you get to the center of a galaxy, you go on to the next galaxy. The center, I mean, if the center didn't exist, if there was no center, there would be much less, you know, direction to the game. You would have no idea where to go. It's real. Am I going to go to that star over there? Am I going to go that star over there? Without some kind of direction, people would have even less way to know how to play. They had to have some kind of direction to travel in. And of course, there's other paths that they added in. Here's another secret to the game. When the game first came out, 1.03 anyway, Sean Murray tweeted that there's now going to be 3 paths to the game. And everybody always have, you know, speculated for so long on what the 3 paths are. They're like, oh, well, there's the Atlas path, and there's path to black hole. What's the third path? But anticlimactically, the third path is path to waypoint. That's the 3 paths that were added in. People that have played vanilla No Man's Sky know that there was just 2 paths to the game before. Path to the center and just free exploration. And then they added 3 new paths. There was path to an Atlas interface, path to a black hole, and then the third was path to waypoint. So it wasn't like 3 different storylines that you could follow. It was just, that's not even what Sean said. He didn't say that all 3 paths were like a storyline or something. He just said there were 3 paths, and there were 3 paths on the galaxy, the star map, the galaxy map that you could follow. And of course, path to waypoint is just whatever waypoint you set, and it creates that path. So basically, Atlas Path was a separate storyline. Path to Black Hole is just something to help you get to the center of the galaxy. And then Path to Waypoint is basically an extension of free exploration. You can go there, you can go wherever you want to. So as some people have speculated, the 3 paths are Atlas Path, Path to Center, or Path to Black Hole, or doing whatever you want. So anyways, I think No Man's Sky is on the right path. If they just add in more assets, possibly more difficulty as you get closer to the center. I don't think it needs a bunch of objectives like people think. People say, oh, if they would just add in missions, if they would just add in more faction systems. More faction systems would be nice, but I don't think that's what No Man's Sky really needs. It's really all just about the awe and the wonder of exploring. And so they really just need to concentrate on that. They need to just create more types of planets, more creatures, more buildings with weird things that you can do at them. Just more things to explore. Let's see how close I'm getting here. So if they just concentrate on that, making the game maybe more challenging as you get closer to the center, and also adding in more unusual types of planets and places, I think that's all No Man's Sky needs. Obviously, it's never going to be what people think of as a AAA game, but it is going to be a cult classic. It's already a cult classic. Their cult classic, of course, is a game that a small number of people avidly love. I avidly love it. There's lots of people on Twitter that really love it. It's not a whole lot of people, and maybe their numbers will grow as they improve on the game, which I really hope they'll improve in the way that I'm saying they should. If they try to make it more like a, objective-driven game, that's going to ruin what No Man's Sky is really all about. But I really think if they do make it all about exploration, that's really what needs to happen.
Life support power.
See, now you can see that life support powered by Thamium. Good thing it's here on this empty planet. Like this right now. I'm just in this empty, silent world by myself, talking to millions of people, or maybe just 100 people, if that's how many people watch this video. But here I am on this empty planet. I love how in Foundation they made it so that there's no music. I love that about empty planets. Because you can finally just, be out here all on your own. There's no buildings, no sentient aliens inside buildings sitting there. It's just an empty world Obviously, the worlds with life are also very good, better even. But I like coming out here to empty planets. It's nice, you know. And I love these little floating islands they have sometimes. Just quiet, serene, peaceful, relaxing. That's what No Man's Sky is about. It's how it can make you feel. It's relaxing, it's awe-inspiring. You also get to have cool stuff like my giant freighter up there. Which was a good addition, even if it didn't add a whole lot to gameplay. Although it did to mine, since I'm filling my ship full of warp fuel. But anyway, I think that's about enough rambling. That's my take on No Man's Sky for the time being. In my next video, I'm going to build something at my base, something special, teach players to build it if they want to, and also talk about the religion of No Man's Sky, religion and the lore of No Man's Sky, and my speculation of what it means. Obviously, there's been a lot of speculation about No Man's Sky religion, but I'm going to put my own little take on it. And I think that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Using reverse psychology, do not like, subscribe, or share this video. Let's see if you don't. And I'm Mac for a day. Thank you for joining on this day that I was Mac. And I'll see y'all later.